Welcome back to Mutton Chop Gaming. I'm the Mutton Chop Gamer, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tobias and the Dark Sceptres, a game 13 years in the making. Now, I won't go into the whole story about why this game took 13 years. I'll post a video describing it made by the guy that made the game, and I'll post a link to the game itself since you can get it for free. But my major question is this: will the pattern that basically ruined Duke Nukem Forever and Daikatana be continued in the indie circuit? Well, let's not waste any more time answering that question. This is Tobias and the Dark Sceptres. Let's begin with a narrative. Many years ago, when ancient evil stirred up trouble but was sealed away. Years later, someone practicing dark arts proceeds to release the ancient evil, and so you, a hero clad in green, are sent by royalty to figure out the problem, learning what you must do from a wise man, and are told of a powerful artifact needed to defeat the evil. Oh, wait, hold on. These are my notes for A Link to the Past. Let me get the real notes for this game. Let's see here. Evil, green shirt, royalty, wise man, magic MacGuffin. Wait, these are the Tobias notes. Well, this is embarrassing. Oh, but the website says it's a Zelda ripoff, so I can't dock at points for that. Oh, I'm totally gonna judge the story based on that now. Oh yes, there's a plot twist that was alright, but it was nothing too special. All Tobias has to do is destroy the 2 Dark Sceptres and then beat the big evil. Wait, 2 Dark Sceptres? Since when have you ever had to do a task in a video game 2 times? Once, I completely understand. 3 times is fair enough. 3 is the magic number in video games. But why 2 scepters? For an even number, that's pretty odd. I apologize. Let's get to the aesthetics now. The game goes for the old-fashioned, pixel-based graphics, and for the most part, they're alright. They're nothing too spectacular, they're just alright. Adam Butcher in the video about the game mentions that he wanted consistent lighting for all of the sprites, but honestly, I couldn't tell going in. This stuff is designed competently, but it's just nothing too special. Other games have been better, other games have been worse. Sound design is decent enough, with the sounds made by enemies and those by Tobias and his items work well, but once again, they're nothing too special. The music is pretty good though, or at least the original stuff. Butcher did a decent enough job with the songs, but some of the music is borrowed from other games entirely, like this little piece from Zelda. And this next song may not sound too familiar at first, but maybe if I sing along with it. This is the great rip-off piece, won't somebody please call the police? Plagiarizing tunes is breaking the law, you maroon. You wouldn't have gone wrong with your own song. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's get into the gameplay. It's a 2D puzzle platformer with combat. Now, let's break each individual part of that separately, except for the 2D part. That's pretty self-explanatory. First up, the puzzles are either ridiculously easy or incredibly difficult. There's not really any middle ground. Some puzzles actually don't just require you using objects in the room, some require you to use hold items, but we'll get to those hold items later. Often for these puzzles, I ended up trying to find a walkthrough that doesn't exist online, so I had to resort to the puzzle solver, which is a load of crap. Basically, in an effort to block spoilers, Butcher decided to make it so you can only read the walkthrough up to the point you're at. Okay, avoiding spoilers is good and all, but you get to a point where you're in a room and it tells you that you need an item to progress, but you never figure out how to get that item because the game never told you the steps on how to get it. So you end up having to use the puzzle solver to figure it out and going back to your previous rooms that you already went through. It's even worse with Chapter 12's boss because you have to endure so much of his crap in order to see all the rooms of the fight, and then you can learn how to beat it up in the solver. Next up, the platforming, and I'll be honest, it's not that good. It's imprecise and it glitches sometimes. It just doesn't feel good. Oh, and look, invisible platforms, because those are always fair. I don't care if the hold item gives you a screen that shows them it's freaking small when the room is freaking big. But don't worry, like I said, I'll rant about those hold items in a minute. Oh, and there's slowdown. Slowdown on this game. You're telling me that I can run Skyrim at 1080p, but this game lags when there are loads of sprites on the screen? Lastly, the combat. You swing your sword in a downward direction, which of course ends up frustrating you when enemies are coming from that direction and yet the game doesn't let you hit them, and you feel even worse when enemies come from different angles because you can't hit them. I feel it would have been better if instead of a quarter circle, we got a swing going a good full arc around Tobias's front. Then there's the shield that blocks head-on attacks, but since there are too many enemies that come in from angles and so many attacks that go right through your shield, it's pretty useless in later parts of the game. Oh, and the part of the end boss fight with the undodgeable and unblockable attacks? Yeah, that's completely fair! And now we finally get to talk about those items. You have a large number of these which are meant to be used for puzzle solving and combat. However, I'm only going to talk about the memorable ones. There's the crossbow, which can be used to make platforms, and sometimes it can't be used to make platforms. It can also be used to shoot enemies, but the crossbow bolts are so small that it's not exactly an effective weapon. There's the rod that creates platforms underneath you, but it doesn't seem to work right. It doesn't create the platforms immediately under your feet a lot of the time. It lags. What's this? You think the platform rod doesn't work right? Well, how about we take it away from you and replace it with another rod that paralyzes enemies for a short time? I can't be the only one who is disappointed by that idea. You get a double jump item later on, and imagine having a level where you can double jump and place a platform beneath you. That would have been amazing! You also get a light bulb that pulls things with sun symbols on them towards you and removes shadowy shields from enemies. There are also seeds that give you a bunch of different kinds of plants, but come on, am I the only one that thinks it's unfair most of the time? Yes, I know you want me to experiment with the seeds, but that's no excuse to put me in a room with a huge boss and expect me to just know that I need to put a seed in this dirt to make a plant appear that will light bombs. I never saw a plant like that in the game before. How was I supposed to know it would do that? The only other plant I had to make in this dungeon was a vine that had to be walked on. That's not lighting a bomb. How am I supposed to know that? Convey what you want me to do! Oh, and instead of just scrolling through these items or having a pause screen to let you select them, each item is assigned to a specific number key. Fair enough, but the platforming with the combat is just better suited for a controller using joy to key, not the keyboard. But even then, Butcher made it as difficult as possible to do that, because according to the start of the game, there are 9 slots for items. 9! That's just insane! The most I ever held at a time was 6 though, so apparently the game is lying. The difficulty curve spikes as well near the end. See, instead of letting you save whenever, you have to save at certain points. Okay, that's fair enough, and hey, the save points replenish your health. But then the save point is never to be used again. So if you don't know the dungeon very well and you want to refill your health early, you may never find another health potion in that dungeon, so you end up being stuck. Heck, in the last boss, you get one of these, but it isn't a mid-boss checkpoint, and instead of it being a pattern, after you use this health thing once, after the first round when you took a beating, you aren't given another one. If it sounds like I hate the Chaos Form boss in particular, it's because I freaking do! The difficulty rose so much, the slowdown hurt me, the fact that there's no pattern with these spikes and these tentacles hurt me, the fact that if you double jump the platform doesn't follow you hurt me, and the fact that you have to use puzzle solving in the boss fight hurts me. I just couldn't bring myself to beating this boss. And the game certainly doesn't earn any bonus points for apparently launching in a window that resists fraps. Honestly, considering the story behind the game, I hate the fact that I don't like this game. It's functional, it has its charms, but the gameplay is just atrocious. The narrative only has one solid point, and the aesthetics are just nothing special. There is a light at the end of the tunnel though. This game reminds me of the free version of Meat Boy on Newgrounds from a while back. It wasn't too good on Newgrounds, but it was great when the concept was more refined and made into Super Meat Boy. I realized that Butcher's attitude was just wanting to get the game done after some time. And believe me, I can sympathize with notions like that. But please, developers, please take my ideas! Despite all the problems with this game, I see potential untapped. So many things that could be done if this game were more polished. Basically, here's my thoughts on the matter. Go to Kickstarter, get the game funded there so you can work on it full time and give it the treatment that I honestly feel this game deserves. Some original music to replace the songs copied from other games could be used. Make the art style something truly unique to the gaming world. Fix the difficulty curve so the entire game feels fair. I honestly want this game to be better than it is right now, and I feel it could become an indie legend of quality if it were spruced up. Look, I just don't like this game that much. I have to give it a D+ at the very best. I know this game has potential behind it. I know it can be done a lot better if it has more time put into it. I know that's a crappy thing to say considering it took 13 years, but seriously, put more time into it for the quality. Do the Kickstarter idea I gave you, please. It just should be done for it. Oh, and if you're planning on making your own videos for the game, keep in mind that, like I said in the critique, this game does resist frames. So you're gonna have to use some other way of recording it. I had to record it like a console game, and that's why this video took so long getting out. But, yeah, that's it, and I'll see you guys next week.
Hey, if you liked my video, then why not throw me a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And while you're commenting, suggest a game for me to critique sometime later.